Hey everybody, before I get into today's video, I just want to again thank you all for watching the previous two. It means a lot to me that you guys are showing interest in these videos and the music itself, so thank you very much. Today's video is about my album called The Portal, which came out in September of 2016. And you might be able to kind of hear it playing softly in the background. Getting better at these gosh darn video things. Um, Little backstory on the album itself. During the writing and recording, it was a pretty crazy time. Around July of 2016, Megan got sick, and she progressively got sicker. And after urging her to go to the hospital, we went to the hospital, and first they thought it was gallstones, which it was, and then it progressed into Crohn's and colitis and all kinds of stuff. But I'm kind of going ahead of myself. So yeah, after that first trip to the hospital, everything seemed to be okay, and then a little shortly thereafter, we went back again, and that was the beginning of pretty much an entire year of her being in and out of the hospital. And let's just say, four surgeries later, three PIC lines, all kinds of insanity that I'm strangely forgetting. I haven't really talked about this, especially not publicly like this, like on YouTube. But so during all this, I was just stressed, worried, depressed, and then in the midst of all this, I got news that my mother had contracted lung cancer, and she had recently moved from Michigan, where I live and where we're from, to California. So getting this news was a further blow, especially since she was in California now, and I'm here, and I can't be with her, I can't support her, I can't help her. So it's worrying about her and worrying about Megan, and music kind of went on the back burner for the time being. But every once in a while, I just needed to vent, and that's what this album is. It's not all about that, but it was written during the prime of all this insanity. Um, the song that just ended was called the Alps, and that's the first song I want to highlight because lyrically, it's pretty much all about what was going on with Megan. And the first line of that song is, "Will you wake up from the impossible dream?" And what that line is referring to is everything that's going on with Megan, and then shortly thereafter, finding out about my mother's condition. It just felt like a horrible dream that I was hoping that I was gonna awake from and just come back to reality that everybody was healthy, everyone was fine, there was no danger, but that wasn't to be. Musically, I kind of wanted to express that kind of anxious, crazed feeling. With I got a relentless 808 drum beat going, and came up with these dark, ominous bass and synth melody lines. And as the verses progress, a very loud synth chord slowly rises in volume, and as it climaxes, it breaks open into the first of two guitar solos. The first being a anti-guitar solo, which was crazy chaotic playing in the key of the song, and then the second is a ethereal, pretty slide guitar part that musically I just felt like it perfectly expressed how I was feeling at that moment in time. Um, I should also mention, like the previous album, Invent Yourself, where the first half included all songs with vocals and the second half was all instrumentals. This album also follows that same outline. And I'm going to jump to the instrumental section now, and I want to highlight song number 5, which is called Rubber Arm. And the reason why I bring up Rubber Arm is it's the first appearance of my dog Cruz on one of my recordings. I posted a picture of him today out laying out in the sun on Facebook. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you may have seen that picture. It's gotten lots of likes. So I just thought it was appropriate to bring up this song because you can hear him at the end of the song uh, letting me know that he wanted to go outside. He was making lots of adorable little puppy noises to get my attention as I was finishing recording. Um, the next song I want to talk about is called Whiff, and the second half of the album is all instrumentals, like I said, and I feel personally that I can convey myself better musically than I can lyrically. Uh, Even as I'm trying to speak to you now, I'm having trouble expressing how the insanity of this time period. And I'm going to go into a little more detail of how crazy it truly got um, when I talk about the next song. So with Whiff, I wanted to go the complete opposite. I wanted to make something that was fun, that was happy, jovial, carefree, and I wanted something to so I could solo over it. I wanted to play this just great rockin' guitar solo, very triumphant sounding guitar solo, and I feel like that song I nailed it. And especially the guitar playing, I feel like the guitar solos on that song are some of my best playing ever. And coming from a drummer who's pretending to be a guitar player, who's also pretending to be a bass player and a keyboard player, and a singer, uh, I just feel very strongly that my playing was at an all-time high at that moment in time. And if you listen to it, I think it speaks for itself. The last song I want to talk about, because I want to kind of try to keep this quick, because I did this video before and it was too long, so I'm going to try to make it under 10 minutes if possible, if not longer than 10 minutes. And I'm already at 7 minutes, so shut up, Chris. Let's go. So the last song I want to highlight is called Pick 2. And the reason why I called it Pick 2, P-I-C-C 2, is the second or third time Megan was in the hospital. I believe it was the second time. She calls me saying that they are discharging her and for me to come get her, come home. Yay, right? So I get to the hospital, I get up to her floor, and the entire floor is filled with nurses and doctors, and they're all surrounding my wife's room, of course. So I instantly just go straight to the worst. She's dying, or she's dead, because the whole damn hospital is in this hall, and they're all in her room. I somehow break my way through all this. They let me in, they recognize me. What had happened is they put in a PICC line, and it was actually rubbing up against her heart, and it caused her heart rate to raise up to over 300 beats per minute. So, thankfully, she was alive. She's okay. They kept her overnight after they fixed the problem to make sure that she was okay before she went home the next day. Sadly, not for the last time, but I'll get to that in a later date because there is a part 2 to this. The follow up that came out the following year called Grimy Reptiles, I see as a part 2 of this whole experience because I was still going through it at the time. But anyways, the music of Pick 2 is my own interpretation of how she must have felt being, freaking out, being nervous, just wondering if she was gonna die. I feel like I nailed that musically. I can't say for sure that she feels the exact way that the music feels, but in my mind, that's what I was going for. I was trying to musically translate the look I was seeing in her eye when all this was going on, when I was able to get into her room. But yes, so my life at this point in time, besides these songs on this album that I'm talking about, was waking up in the morning, going to the hospital, coming home, feeding the dog, playing with the dog, going back to the hospital until visiting hours were over, and going home and either crying or freaking out or listening to music or just doing whatever I could to try to escape the crazy reality that we had found ourselves in. And when I was feeling up to recording, or I needed to record, I did, and this is what became of it. Besides my love of making music and just music in general, music is also an escape and a way to cope with just craziness and bring my anxiety down and just go to a different world, escape the craziness of the world that I find myself in at whatever moment in time. And the portal is my way of expressing my feelings during this moment in time. And thankfully, there is a happy ending. Megan is upstairs right now watching TV, probably, or playing with our dog, and my mother is in California, cancer free. We had a couple more scares later on down the road, but everyone is okay, and I'm okay, and hopefully you're okay. And yeah, this record, it's a trip hearing these songs again because it was a very, very crazy time in my life, in our life, and I'm glad that everything worked itself out and we're all okay and healthy. And yeah, so that's my rambling thoughts on my 2016 release entitled The Portal. So hopefully, this crazy story will pique your interest and you will check out the album, which I will be linking in the description down below. Thank you so much for continuing to watch and support me, and I will be back tomorrow with another album for you.